I like Hawkeye? Hey everybody, I'm Mr. Wright, and welcome to Wright at the Movies. Today, I'm talking about Avengers, Age of Ultron. Joss Whedon's back to bring us another adventure with the Avengers. So if you haven't seen the first Avengers, what rock are you living in? But anyways, it's basically just a team-up of a bunch of other Marvel heroes, and they're all gonna go fight another big bad guy. So we have Captain America, who's by far my favorite, Iron Man, Hulk, Black Widow, Thor, and Hawkeye. This big Marvel Universe movie experiment is still so awesome and so much fun because they just gather up all these different characters from their different solo superhero movies and then team them up. It's an idea that is so crazy fun. When I was a kid, this kind of a movie was impossible. This was not something that could happen. Now look where we are. It's so amazing and so cool. And when that first movie came out, it was like magic on the screen because this just doesn't happen. And now, 3 years later, it's happening again, and it was just as much fun, but some of the magic is gone because we've seen it before. Don't get me wrong, I love this movie. In fact, I might have loved it more than the first one. This one's much darker than the original one, while still keeping that same kind of light to it somehow. It's kind of like Star Wars. The first one was very simplified and light, with a classic simple storyline that everybody can get behind. But then Empire Strikes Back comes out, and it's much darker and much richer of a story. Still very similar, but has more going on. So after being Avengers for so long, Iron Man and Bruce Banner eventually started talking about making this big robot intelligence that would save the world. Ultron. They're just like, hey, why don't we just have this robot do our jobs for us and we can just quit? I guess Iron Man just never saw the Terminator movies because that's a bad idea. Okay? It's a bad idea.
People will look to the sky and see hope. I'll take that from them first.
So this robot, Ultron, wants to save the world by destroying it. His voice is so menacing, played by James Spader. He is scary. He's frightening. But he also has a couple lines that are just hilarious.
There are no strings on me.
Making the villain just another person is some of my favorite stuff, and Joss Whedon does that like nobody else. And you know what? Yes, Ant-Man created him in the comics, and that's a big shame that he got kicked out in the movie. But I don't care, because it still works. And if you're complaining just for the sake of complaining, you are poisoning the comic book nerd community, okay? Because this is still just a lot of fun. The number one thing for adaptations is that it feels like the comic or the book or the show or whatever. As long as it still fits in the world and makes sense and works, I think it's okay. And Tony Stark making Ultron instead of Hank Pym is okay. It's fine. This isn't Marvel's first time making an adaptation, and it certainly isn't going to be their last.
How could you be worthy? You're all puppets, tangled in strings.
One of the things that slowed down the first Avengers movie was getting them all together. And because they all have these huge egos, because they're all so used to playing in their own little worlds, putting them together, they all kind of butt heads because they're not team players. So that was most of the movie. And to be honest, it kind of really slowed the movie down. And that's why I really love this movie almost more, is because they're already a team. They already know each other. They already trust each other. So at the first frame of this movie, it's just immediate. They just get each other. And the fun is through the roof. They never ever stop fighting, and some of the character analysis stuff is still there, some of the great dialogue is still there, some of the great jokes are still there, and there's more action. It delivers more on every single element. And can we talk about the Hulkbuster? The Hulkbuster, you guys. It's by far one of the coolest suits Iron Man has, and it's tons of fun. While the fights are great, my favorite part of the Avengers movies is when they sit down and they just talk for a while. Some really great character analysis stuff that you can really dig into, and that's some of my favorite stuff with superheroes, is when you just have them talk, and you just learn more about them as people.
Whosoever be he worthy, you shall have the power. Whatever, man, it's a trick.
Oh, it is much more than that, my friend.
If I lift it, do I get to rule Asgard?
Yes, of course.
I will be fair but firmly cruel. Be right back.
And that stuff's great. That stuff is so great. And so when the Avengers are all just sitting around the tower, just chatting, and eventually they all start trying to pick up Thor's hammer.
Come on, Cap.
Nothing.
Oh, no, that's not a question I need answered.
And what follows is some of the most fun, laid-back, cool, funny scenes in the whole movie. So the Avengers are all back, and now, in this movie, there's a few new additions to the team. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. But not only Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, there's also one more new addition. The Vision. And he's so cool. He's got all the powers of basically all the Avengers. And then he talks like Mr. Spock, and he has this cape, and he's got this cool forehead crystal, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to stay organized and, like, level-headed, but this movie's the best. Spoiler alert, it's good, like every other Marvel movie ever. It's just good. It's great. It delivers both for a casual audience that just wants to watch stuff explode. It delivers on an audience that likes action movies. They reference a lot of movies that are coming up soon. There's a couple mentions of Wakanda, and there's a lot of tension boiling between Captain America and Iron Man. They make me actually enjoy Hawkeye. They make me like Hawkeye. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are super fun. The Russian accents get to me after a little bit, but they're fine. If you're an Iron Man fan, you can watch this just as an Iron Man movie, and you're fine. If you're a Captain America fan, you can watch this just as a Captain America movie, and you're fine. If you're just a good movie fan, you can watch this and also still enjoy it with having no reference whatsoever. And if you're a Marvel Universe fan, this is a grand feast of awesome references and cool hints and stuff. I think it really perfectly balances both hinting at future movies while also not bashing you over the head with it. Marvel movies make me feel like a kid again. You sit there and it's just part of your world now, and you're part of their world now. There's no hiding it. There's no fighting it. You're just... I give it 2 thumbs up. It's great. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Mr. Wright. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Ugh. Fine, I'll do it myself.